allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Dankert, would you do the roll call, please?
Mayor Steen.
Present.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Present.
Councilmember Hagan.
Present.
Carolyn.
Present.
Enright.
Present.
King. Austin.
Present.
Jordahl.
Present.
And?
We have a quorum, I'm sorry. I'm in my own little world here.
Okay, we are going to be removing 17 on the approving a lease with the YMCA. We do not have Steve King here tonight. He is at a work meeting in some other city, but he had to go. He told us that. So since we don't have enough people, we need 5 votes to pass it, and I'm not sure we'd have that unless we're going to take it to the work council or to the work session tonight. So that's off the agenda for tonight. We will be discussing it at the work session. So with that removed, we need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to remove item 17 from the agenda
And adopt the agenda as
and
it.
adopt the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 2 is a motion for approval of the minutes from September 19th, 2016. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We don't have any awards or recognitions. Number 4 is the consent agenda. We need a motion for that. Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under public hearings, number 5 is a public hearing. Oh, Ann, did you want to get up and explain something? It's got your name here, so, or do we just go ahead and start on this?
There's a series of public hearings that we have tonight for our usual fall assessments, which would be for miscellaneous sidewalk, in-drive, or sewer line improvements, grass and weed removal, snow removal, junk removal, garbage, and tree and brush removal. So each of these owners of the property have been sent a hearing, and then a notice of hearing, and the notice was also published in the Austin Daily Herald. With each resolution, there's a list of property owners and each amount, and they were notified of tonight, so we can just go through each item. If there's anyone that has a question on each item, we can go from there. Otherwise, I would just request you pass the resolutions.
Okay, so we'll start with number 5. It's a resolution on a public hearing on assessment for miscellaneous sidewalk, in-drive, and sewer line projects. Council, do you have any input on this? Is anybody here for that? It's a public hearing, so anybody in the audience, we do take input. If there's nobody here to discuss that, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 6 is a public hearing on assessments for 2015 through 2016 grass and weed removal. Council, anything? If not, once again, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody here that wants to discuss this or bring something up? Reference this to the council. If not, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 7 is a resolution. It's a public hearing on assessment for 2016-15 snow removal. Once again, council, anything? Public hearing, is there anybody here that wishes to discuss this with the council? If not, we need a resolution for item number 7.
So move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Number 8 is a public hearing on assessments for 2015 junk and garbage removal. Once again, council. Public, anybody here that wishes to discuss this or bring it up with the council? If not, we need a resolution for item number 8.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 9 is a public hearing on assessment for tree and brush removal. Once again, council. Public, anybody have input? If not, we need to pass this resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin. Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Okay, that's it for public hearings. Under petitions and requests, number 10 is a resolution awarding a contract for interim for office furniture on City Hall remodel. Tom?
Interium is the state vendor that's got the state bid, the cooperative purchasing venture through the state of Minnesota for office equipment, or for office furniture, I should say. We've been working with them to design the new partial City Hall remodel, and the quote is $165,348 for the proposed office furniture, and we'd request council approval as it's within the budget of the project.
Council? Nobody has any questions? We need a resolution for item number 10.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Item number 11 is a resolution awarding contract with UHL for city security cameras. Tom?
We've been working with a couple entities to look at some security cameras within City Hall, and UHL is the entity that has the security cameras at the LEC and the library, and we've taken a look at those, and they seem to be a rather a nice system. So we worked with them to get a quote to install them here at City Hall, which will both include interior ones, and since recently Riverside Arena was tagged, we've decided to add some exterior ones to try to keep watch on more facilities or more areas around City Hall. At this point in time, the cost is $12,618, and we'd request approval of the agreement with UHL.
Council? If there's no further questions, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Number 12 is a resolution approving an election plan and cost allocation with Mauer County. Ms. Kazel.
Yes, this is a proposed election plan with Moore County. The Moore County Board passed it on September 13th, and it just provides details about the maintenance and upkeep of our machines that we use for the election, and then also a breakdown of our costs. It's never really been in writing before what the city would be billed for on the elections, so this really just sets it forth so we can budget more effectively in the future for our election costs. And we've reviewed the agreement and find it to be fair, and we would request your approval.
Okay, Council, do you have any questions, comments? If not, we need a resolution.
So move the
Is
resolution.
there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert?
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 13 is a resolution approving a security alarm and camera agreement for the Nature Center. Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We reviewed our project, and our architect, INS, had asked several different entities to bid on our camera system out at the Nature Center, and we have chosen Heartland Security as our company.
Okay, Council? If there's no questions or comments, we need a resolution for 13.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second? Tom?
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
14 is a resolution approving a sidewalk replacement agreement. Mr. Lang.
Periodically, we will have residents that are not part of a street reconstruction project that'll have a lot of sidewalk that needs to be replaced. In this case, the property at Lot 11, Block 11, Woodlawn Park Edition has about $1,335 worth of sidewalk frontage that needs to be replaced. In this case, they have petitioned to have that sidewalk assessed to their property versus paying the lump sum. So working with The city attorney's office would develop this petition agreement to allow for that to happen. The property owners have signed the agreement, and we would recommend council approval. This would then go into, onto their taxes, part of the miscellaneous assessment approvals that you just approved tonight. That would go on, be part of the approvals for next year, October of 2017.
Council, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 15 is resolution adopting an all-hazard mitigation plan with Mauer County. Ms.
Your
Walsh?
Honor and council members, we look at these all-hazard mitigation plans approximately every 5 years. Mauer County is the lead agency involved in developing the plan. They send out information to our city staff and to other officials in order to get a very rigorous update and information for developing that plan. That plan is then reviewed by FEMA and is approved. The plan has been approved and has been adopted by the county. The City of Austin has participated in the past plans and is participating in this most recent update. And in order to receive any grants and funding from FEMA and other sources, and to, again, just to implement the plan, the council needs to adopt a resolution.
Council, anything? If not, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin. Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Accepting donations to the City of Austin, self-explanatory, need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
Austin. Jordahl.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 17 has been removed. 18 is a motion granting the Planning and Zoning Department the authority to remove junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at 401 9th Street Southwest. We need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now to citizens addressing the council. Any citizens that want to address the council tonight on items that were not on, well, I don't care if they're on the agenda or not. If you want to talk to us, come on up. Name, address.
Sidney J. Brown, 2301 10th Street Northwest, the Austin Village Co-op.
Haven't you been up here before?
Yes,
Okay.
you don't remember me.
I remember you.
Oh, good. Anyway, last year we talked to, out of the Village Co-op, officials from the city and also HRA, telling us they might be building out at the Fox Point, and an access road would be needed to get into that meadow, which is directly east of us, as you well know.
This is pretty far down the road.
This is about the driveway,
Yeah.
and there was a possibility that our driveway, part of the driveway would be used as part of a road. The road would be built over the driveway and veer off east into Fox Point,
Yep.
making Fox Point accessible from that position.
Yep.
Anyway, it was decided by the Village Co-op that we didn't want this road.
Yep.
And that was true in 2015 and is true this year also.
Yep.
However, October the 19th is an important date coming up, as you well know. That's the date that the Minnesota Housing Agency releases the recipients of those people who, those cities that will receive the funds in order to build. So, decisions have to be made at that point. It's kind of a toss-up whether the city and HRA will receive those funds. So if the city does receive those funds, then decisions have to be made about where that road will be, and we're hoping that road will be elsewhere. We know there are other places, other directions where those trucks and cars and whatever, those roads come into Fox Point. So we're hoping that you will select another direction from which to come into Phelps Point.
And we will notify you when we have a meeting to
Yes,
discuss it.
that-
We told you that.
Yes, you told us that, but I'd like to remind you.
Remind
And,
me. Craig, would you make a note of that?
Yes, I have, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, yeah. Oh, we're well aware of your position on that, and if we do have a hearing on it or a discussion on it, you will be definitely notified.
We just wish to remind you publicly that this is the way it's going to be.
We have a note, right,
Thank
Craig?
you.
I have a note.
Okay. Any other, thank you. Any other citizens that want to address the council? If not, we will do the...
Marv is coming up.
Oh, Marv, yeah.
Yes.
That's
thank
right, you were supposed to remind me of something, right?
Thank you, Tom. Marv Rapinski
Yep.
from Austin. Just an invitation from the people working with the library sale. Some of us, even in this room, have been participating in the last few weeks, which is does a great service for education in the area. But as of this evening yet and into tomorrow evening, there are a couple thousand books that are being given.
Given away?
And they're free. They're free. They're put out in the entryway. A lot of them are on romance. Now, I have no need of more romance, so that's not for me. But there are a lot of travel and geography and history and leadership, and they're freebies. They have had a lot of donations this year, and more are coming in, so thank you.
Thank you. And Marv told me that earlier, and I was supposed to announce it, and I was gonna, but I kind of forgot. Anyway, anybody else? If not, we'll go down and start with Judy. Judy?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jeff?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Janet?
Paint the Town Pink had a media event today to kick off the awareness about the Paint the Town Pink, which will be, the Austin celebration will be January 30th through February 12th with a goal of to raise $300,000 for breast cancer research at the Hormel Institute. So there are some events coming up this month, though, as well, that will contribute to Paint the Town Pink. One is at Runnings, and I believe Mr. Hagan is going to tell you about another one. So please, you could check with go to the Hormel Institute website, and they will have a link to Paint the Town Pink, and it'll give you some more information. And of course, new events and new participation is also welcome. Thanks.
Thank you, Janet. Mike?
Nothing, Your Honor.
David?
Yeah, we do have a Paint the Town Pink event happening this Saturday.
I hope that's what that hat's for.
No, I'm going deer hunting.
Okay. You're gonna wait till after the meeting, all right?
But anyhow, yeah, that's what this hat is for, and it's put on by Moore County Habitat and Pheasants Forever. It's an actual pheasant hunt, and we do it at Three Rivers by Leroy, Minnesota. Three Arrows, excuse me. And it's Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Last year, we raised $3,000 in that day event.
Is this the youth thing?
No, that's a couple weeks later we do our youth hunt. But this hunt is, everybody that comes out and participates gets 4 birds each, and they're put out in the field and you go out and hunt them, just like a hunt, yeah. So it's a good way to tune up your dog for the hunting season, which happens the following week.
Give me a when and where on that again?
Three Arrows. It's over there by Leroy, Minnesota, and it's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday. And it's a fun time. It's a real good time if you're into hunting. I see a few people here that will probably participate, or their husband. And
it costs 20, how much?
Oh, it's $125 a person.
Well, you forgot to mention that.
And
but 4 birds, you said, right?
4 each, yeah.
Yep.
And you
that's
get
not really
to hunt
that
for an
bad.
hour and a half and socialize, and we got food, and like I said, it goes to a good cause. 100% of it goes to the Hormel Institute and Hunt for a Cure.
And do the birds go to, do they keep the birds?
Oh, you keep your birds.
You keep your birds. It's a lot
Yeah,
more than it's a
make
lot less
pheasant.
than you'd pay going to South Dakota.
Well, I tell you, you know, to go to South Dakota to hunt 3 birds, $200 just for the possibility of getting them.
Yeah, I know it.
So anyhow, this weekend, Saturday, hope to see you there, Mr. Ankeny. Thank you.
That sounds pretty good. Okay, Jeremy?
Yeah, just a reminder and invitation that there is a Brian Staska cancer benefit this weekend.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be at the fairgrounds. this Saturday, October 8th, from 1 to 10. Beanbag tournament will start at 1. They're going to have a band, Cloud Cult, at 8 o'clock, and then silent live auction and food in between. Come on out.
And Jeremy, you also have, I'll get one of those tickets, you also have tickets that you're
We
selling?
do have some firearm raffle tickets available. You can contact any of the firefighters in town, and they'll have them.
And if
Did you say
anybody wants,
Cloud Cult?
Correct.
That's a
if
fabulous band.
anybody wants one tonight, they can, I'm sure Jeremy will have some, right?
Yep.
Okay. Craig, do you have anything?
Yeah, we had a red bike meeting this afternoon, and the group wanted me to pass along that we'll be collecting the red bikes for the season by October 15th. So if anyone has a red bike and would like to return it, either return it to a rack or contact the Park and Rec office. And other than that, that's all I have. I think Stephen, Holly, Kim, and Ann have some items as well.
Wow. Steve, Holly, Kim, and Ann. Okay, let's start with Holly.
Thank you, Your Honor. On October 20th, we are having a public meeting at the Ruby Rupner Auditorium at the Hormel Nature Center from 5 to 7. This will be for citizens to review and make comments on a draft of our comprehensive land use plan that we have been working on for the past year.
Okay, we'll work our way over. Ann?
Stephen is...
Yes, I just wanted to remind the public that the absentee voting is open now. Regular voting will happen on November 8th, but citizens can absentee vote at the Moore County Auditor's Office, which is located in the old courthouse, anytime 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Okay. And sorry, Stephen, we're going to let the ladies go first.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody for being patient with us. We're going to be replacing sand in the low area playgrounds, so if they have caution tape on them, stay out of them, and the sand will be replaced from the flooding.
Okay, Stephen.
I just wanted to touch on a couple of comments and concerns that we were hearing about traffic during the high water event from last week on the east side. Some questions were raised about the emergency 4th Avenue crossing that goes across the railroad tracks. And that crossing, as part of our agreement with the railroad, that crossing would only be put into effect when Oakland Place and 8th Avenue are impassable. So those situations would occur when Oakland Place is underwater, as it was last week. And then 8th Avenue would also have to be impassable, which likely would occur if I-90 was closed. If I-90 was closed, I-90 traffic was directed to 8th Avenue. In my opinion, that would be considered impassable, and therefore the 4th Avenue crossing would be open for emergency vehicles. During our flood event last week, I-90 was open, 8th Avenue Northeast was open. Those were by far the more the better options for getting traffic and emergency vehicles across town, so therefore the 4th Avenue crossing was not opened, the emergency crossing was not open during last week's event.
At what point do we consider a high water event a flood? I don't think it was last week, right?
Well, last week's event was the 7th highest flood on the Cedar River, so it was quite high event, and also it was number 3 on Turtle Creek.
Okay.
So it did rank quite highly with our flood events that we've had. Yes.
So we could say we had a flood. I mean, we have to say we had a flood.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, I mean, we had commercial businesses that were impacted by the high water event. You know, even though a lot of our flood acquisition and our flood mitigation projects have been successful, for those that were impacted by the flood or maybe sewer backup, you know, it's still an impact for them. So I hate to minimize it, that it wasn't a big deal when there were people that were still impacted. There were people out sandbagging and doing preventative measures. So it's still an impact for certain parts of the community during a high water event.
And what area would you say was hit the hardest?
I would say that the folks along Turtle Creek were the ones that did the most preparation because of the premature high predictions to the Turtle Creek that put a lot of, I would say, concern for a lot of people along Turtle Creek. Those predictions were later brought down, but that original prediction of 15.1 would have been a record for Turtle Creek. So that really got a lot of people in that area alarmed, got them going with some sandbagging that later turned out to be not necessary because of the lower crest.
And no matter how much flood mitigation we do, we're still going to have issues with high water. I mean, I know people that had water in their basement by some of their school. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, our plan is to mitigate properties that are in the floodplain, but there's still always going to be those that are right on the fringe, that if we get a larger rain event than we had in 2004, they could be impacted. There's, I think Ms. Wallace has information that, is it 20% of the homes that are impacted by flooding are actually outside of the floodplain? Is that a correct number?
They're outside of the 100-year flood area.
You mean this last time?
The claims to the National Flood Insurance Program,
Okay.
20% of the claims that they receive are outside of our special flood hazard area, and about a third of the money that they pay out.
Okay. Well, you guys did a good job. I mean, if there's one thing we're good at, it's floods, and city workers really did a good job.
Thank you.
Police too, and I don't know if the firemen did anything, but they did a good job too. Okay. With that, if there's nothing else, Craig, we will entertain motion.
I have
Okay.
a question for Chief McCoy. Could you talk about, isn't there an open house coming up for the fire department?
Open house next Wednesday, October 12th, at the fire station, 5 to 7 p.m. Free cookies, drink from McDonald's, extrication demo, try on some gear, look at the fire trucks, bring your kids out, have some fun.
What were the hours again, Jim?
5 to 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Craig?
No, sir.
Well, now, we're going to entertain a motion to adjourn. As soon as we do, we'll take a 5 to 10 minute break, and then we'll have should we do the work session in here? Because there's a few people here for it. Should we do it right now? Okay, we'll do it in the room. How many people are here for the work session on the Y? I think we'll have enough room over there. And we'll do that right away. We'll take that first because we have so many people. So give us a 5-10 minute break. We'll meet in a small conference room across the hall, and we'll do the Y first. We need a motion to adjourn. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, we'll meet in a small room.